Iti te jnanamakhyātam guhyat guhyataram maya vimrushyetat aseshani yachetasi tatha kuru. The countdown to the Charama Shloka has already begun. These two shlokas are very, very important as a foundation to the most significant shlokas of the Gita. 65 and 66 are the very quintessence of Bhagavad Gita. And the shlokas 63 and 64, which we are going to relish today, build the foundation to that quintessential conclusion that Krishna is going to make in the Gita. And especially shloka number 64 is so very dear to all of us. And you will know why when we dive deep into that shloka. Iti te jnanamakhyātam. Iti, Krishna now is getting to conclude the Gita. Iti means thus. Iti te jnanamakhyātam guhyat guhyataram maya. Hey Arjuna, thus I have imparted to you akhyātam. I have delivered, I have imparted jnana, the quintessential wisdom. Through the Gita, through this samvada, Krishna says, hey Arjuna, thus I have imparted the quintessential knowledge, wisdom, jnanam akhyātam, guhyat guhyataram maya. Guhya means that which is a secret, that which is confidential, that which is very profound. Guhyat guhyataram. More confidential than what is confidential. Thus, I have imparted a very, very confidential, a secretive knowledge I have shared with you, hey Arjuna. Guhyat guhyataram maya. And he goes on to say, vimrushyetat aseshena. Now, the onus is shifting from Krishna to Arjuna. He says, hey Arjuna, it is time for you now to ponder. It is time for you now to reflect, to deliberate. Aseshena, fully taking all my teachings into account. It is time for you, hey Arjuna, to start reflecting, to start deliberating. Why? He says, yatechasi tatha kuru. Reflect, ponder, deliberate, and decide as per your desire. Krishna, thus, in his conclusion, once again demonstrates a very important aspect of Bhagavad Gita or our shastras in general. Gita and our shastras are not just commandments. They are choices that are given to us. Very important to make that differentiation between a commandment and a choice that is given, that is given to us for us to exercise our will and to choose. Therefore, Krishna here is placing on the table to Arjuna, hey Arjuna, it is now time for you to reflect and make a wise choice. Through this declaration, we get to understand two important aspects of Krishna, the most compassionate teacher. One, his magnanimity and his tolerance. Two, his far-sightedness and his sagacity. Why do I say magnanimity and tolerance? Krishna demonstrates that there is no force in love. In true love, When there is unconditional love, there is no need for any force. Krishna is not forcing Arjuna to do what he wants. Krishna is giving choices to Arjuna and asking Arjuna to make a choice. This shows Krishna's tolerance. It shows his magnanimity. Krishna is omnipotent. He is omniscient. He is omnibenevolent. If only he wanted, he could have concluded the Gita. The Gita could have been just 6 words. The entire Gita could have been just 6 words. I am God. I am God. Therefore, you fight. Gita would have been completed. Arjuna did not want to fight. The omnipotent, omniscient, omnibenevolent Krishna did not exercise his godhood to make Arjuna fight the war, to make Arjuna do his duty. Krishna is so magnanimous as a compassionate teacher, and he is so very tolerant that he understands that when there is genuine love, there is no room for force. And thus he says, hey Arjuna, ite chasi tata kuru. As per your desire, you make a choice, you take a decision. Now the second aspect of a compassionate teacher, Krishna the compassionate teacher, his far-sightedness, his sagacity is also demonstrated here. Yes, Krishna respects our intelligence because after all, he is the one who has bestowed us this unique endowment. Otherwise, why would he even give us, human beings, this faculty of intelligence? He has bestowed us intelligence. He has bestowed us our own individual will. So therefore, he respects that endowment that he has bestowed to us. He respects Arjuna's intelligence. But at the same time, he does not leave Arjuna struggling in the darkness. It's not basically saying, Arjuna, you decide whatever you want. No, he equips Arjuna to be in a position to make a sound decision, a right decision. He equips Arjuna for the present and for the future. By bestowing wisdom, Krishna empowers Arjuna to make the right choices. Instead of just saying, hey Arjuna, it is up to you to choose, he actually empowers him. He gives him the required knowledge with which Arjuna can then make a choice, make the right choice. So therefore, instead of leaving him in the darkness, Krishna actually plays the role of a true teacher, a true guide, one who is really a true well-wisher, gives him everything that he needs, and then he says, ite chasi tata kuru. Now that you have everything in your arsenal, now you are well equipped, hey Arjuna, to make the right decision. Sometimes we all say that life is a fixed match. Everything is fixed, like a cricket match that is fixed, because everything is orchestrated in such a way that the outcome is predetermined. Krishna is once again proving that wrong. Not all the outcomes are predetermined in life. Life, after all, is not a fixed match. He has given that free will to each and every individual, which needs to be exercised. And once again, Krishna is reminding Arjuna and all of us with this declaration. You do have a free will. You are a choice maker. And therefore, it is up to you to make the choice. However, we also have to realize that while we are choice makers and we have our own free will, the scope of the free will is also limited and constrained. Not everything cannot be chosen by us. We have not chosen our own physical bodies that we all have been bestowed. We have not chosen the families in which we took birth. We cannot choose whether we can age or not age. We cannot choose whether we become diseased or not become diseased. We cannot choose whether we can die or we can escape death. Some things are thrust upon us whether we like it or not. We need to accept that there are several things which are beyond our control. Even things like the weather. We have no control. But at the same time, there is a limited scope, there is a limited area of influence within which we can exercise our free will. So therefore, Krishna here is pointing to Arjuna that scope of influence that Arjuna has. Do not be fatalistic here, Arjuna. Here is a time for you. And Krishna is someone who can fix our life. No, here when we say he can fix our life, he can make things right in our life. What is Krishna making things right in our life? He can make things right. He can make right of those things which have fundamentally gone wrong in our life. He and he alone can make them right. What have fundamentally gone wrong in our lives? Fundamentally, something has gone wrong. It all starts with our misidentification. That is the fundamental wrong. That misidentification as to who we are. And Krishna alone can correct that wrong. And Krishna says, hey Arjuna, when you offer your mind to me, I will offer freedom to you. This is the beauty. We all seek freedom, but as long as we think we can seek freedom with our minds, we are actually bound. We are shackled. Only when we offer our mind to Krishna, we can actually experience true freedom. So Krishna basically is saying, use that limited free will of yours to offer your mind to me, and I shall offer that unlimited freedom, unlimited bliss that you are actually seeking. The beauty of the shloka also is where Krishna is also demonstrating how decision making is so very important in our lives. Here, Arjuna is being asked to make decisions. Essentially, the message to all of us is that we have a great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility, right? What is that great power? That great power of intelligence, that power of free will that has been given to us. And therefore, there is a responsibility to make decisions. Yatechasi tatha kuru. Decide as per your desire. Hey Arjuna, make a choice, decide. A man approached a Swamiji and asked him, Swamiji, how come you are so successful in life? What is the secret to your success? Then Swamiji answered, one word answer. He said, one word. What is that, Swamiji? Oh no, two words. Two words, he said. What is the answer? He said, good decisions. Secret to my success, two words, good decisions. And then immediately he asked, Swamiji, how do you go about taking good decisions? Then Swamiji said, one word. He said, what is that one word answer? Experience. Then immediately he asked, Swamiji, how do you gain good experiences so that you can take good decisions? Then Swamiji said, two words. What is the answer? What are the two words? Bad decisions. Taking decisions, we always look at the outer world, analyze the outer world and take decisions. Krishna is basically here exhorting all of us that while analysis of the outer world is so very important, we must also elevate our inner world. Good decisions are outcomes of elevation that happens, elevation of our own inner aspirations. We all keep making big decisions all the time. Big decisions like what should be the menu for lunch today, what should be the menu for dinner today. Very, very important decisions. This weekend, which restaurant we should go. A lot of arguments happen, and we spend a lot of time analyzing and taking big decisions. All the time making big decisions. A man was asked, how come there is no conflict, in the house? He said, very clear, when it comes to decision making, me and my wife have taken a very important decision. I take all the important decisions in life, and she takes all the trivial decisions. He said, oh, is that so? How come it is? I take all the big decisions, like how should Modi fix the fiscal policy of India? What should be Article 370 like? What should be BJP doing in the next elections? All the strategies, big decisions I take. And then what does your wife do? All the small decisions like how to run the home, how to manage the budgets, all that she does. Thus we avoid conflicts. Decision making, we sometimes think, is so very trivial. Because why? Most of our decisions are unconscious decisions. We take decisions unconsciously all the time. And when we think we are consciously taking decisions, we are always focused on the analysis of external situations. Even on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna is not asking Arjuna to analyze the army in front of him to take his decision. He is only asking Arjuna to elevate himself, his inner aspiration. When the inner aspirations are elevated, when we start peeling the layers of our desires and discover our deepest longing, elevate our aspirations to selflessness and spirituality, that is when we can take sound decisions. Therefore, here Krishna knows that Arjuna is now equipped with the required knowledge. Arjuna is equipped with the way to peel the various layers of desires and discover that deepest aspiration. So we all say, follow your heart, not your mind. If you have to take good decisions, what does it mean? Following your heart and not your mind. What it means is that our mind is the locus of passing infatuations, whereas our heart is the locus of our enduring aspirations. We need to discover our enduring aspiration. What is that deep longing within us? Most often, we always focus on the passing infatuations and take our decisions. Krishna knows that Arjuna has been empowered to make this distinction between what is passing through his mind and what is his deepest longing, based on which he can take sound decisions. Therefore, through this shloka, Krishna is essentially bringing two things together. Two important things: thoughtfulness and faithfulness. We always see a conflict between these two. We always think that one cannot be thoughtfully faithful or faithfully thoughtful. It is an oxymoron, we say. Why? Because if we are too much thoughtful, we border on cynicism, skepticism, and there is no room for faith. If we become too faithful, we become so very sentimental, maybe even naive, and there is no room for thoughtfulness. But the beauty of Krishna's teachings is that he brings the heart and head together, integrates, giving all the required wisdom to Arjuna, and also telling Arjuna that along with that wisdom, you also need that faith in me. Because after all, it is me who has imparted that wisdom. Iti te jnanam akyatam guhyam guhyataram maya. It is I who have imparted this confidential knowledge to you, and therefore, having faith in me, and at the same time, be thoughtful, analyze, deliberate. The beauty of the Gita is, to those who are thoughtful by nature, the Gita provides the necessary philosophical conviction and makes them faithful. There are two pathways in the journey through the Gita. One is the pathway of those who are thoughtful by nature. The Gita is highly philosophical. It appeals to our intellect. Krishna gives the most profound philosophy through the Gita, and he gives us the necessary conviction, philosophical conviction. He establishes so that we also gain faith, we also become faithful. At the same time, for those who are faithful, he gives a beautiful analytical framework in the Gita and makes them also thoughtful. This is the beauty of Gita, bringing the heart and the head together, integration, and bringing back the onus once again to Arjuna, because ultimately it is Arjuna who has to do the duty. Ultimately, it is each and every one of us who have to do our duties, and therefore the onus is on us to exercise that free will and make the choice. So therefore in the Shloka 63, he says, Yatechasi tat shrunu. And then comes the most beautiful Shloka. Shloka 64 is one of the most beautiful Shloka, and it is my recommendation that whenever you face a challenge in life, whatever be the nature of challenge, whenever you feel low, pick up the Gita, turn to chapter 18, Shloka number 64, read it aloud, be assured that you will rise above the mundane challenges that you face, and you will cross over every possible obstacle with conviction and confidence. I don't know if you noticed, when we chanted the shloka, I was a little bit struggling to conclude the shloka because it is so very reassuring. I want all of us to once again chant this shloka because it is so very powerful. I call this the most emphatic declaration of love by Bhagavan. There cannot be more emphatic declaration of love. Therefore, let us once again chant the shloka, all of us together. Sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha.
Sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha.
Shunu me paramam vachaha.
Shunu me paramam vachaha.
Ishtosi me dhridamiti.
Ishtosi me dhridamiti.
Ishtosi me dhridamiti.
Ishtosi me dhridamiti.
Tato vakshyami te hitam.
Tato vakshyami te hitam.
Krishna is looking at all of us through the shloka and saying, Ishtosi me dhridamiti. You are most dear to me. You are my beloved. What else do we need? The assurances of assurance is the greatest expression of Bhagavan's emphatic love to all of us. Krishna says, after having asked Arjuna to make the choice, take your decision, Krishna just doesn't stop there. And he continues and says, hey Arjuna, Sarva Guhyatamam. He says, Sarva Guhyatamam, which is Bhuyaha, again, Sarva Guhyatamam Bhuyaha Shunu me Paramam Vachaha. Now, in the earlier shloka, Krishna said, Guhya, Guhyatara. Now he says, Guhyatamam Bhuyaha. No, we need to understand all these three words. Guhyam, Guhyataram, Guhyatamam. Guhyam means that which is confidential, that which is a secret. Something which is secret is Guhya. Why should knowledge be a secret? Why should wisdom that Krishna is imparting be a secret? We need to understand that knowledge denied is to the deluded. It is a secret to the one who is not well prepared. It is a secret because that which is not understood by the one who is unfaithful. It is a mystery to the misled. It is something which, unless we are prepared, we cannot receive this knowledge. That is why Krishna calls this Guhya. Not that it cannot be revealed. Krishna is ready to reveal it. Are we ready to receive it? So therefore, Guhya is that profound knowledge which is confidential. Now he says Guhyam. Throughout the Gita, he shares lots of secrets. So now here he is summarizing. I have shared you that secret which is Guhya, which is confidential. I shared with you the secret which is Guhyatara, which is more confidential. And I shared with you the secret which is the most confidential, Guhyatamam. Now what is Guhya, Guhyatara, Guhyatamam? Right in the second chapter, right at the beginning of the Gita, Krishna shares a very important secret. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara praptihi dhirastattra muhyati. Najayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavitava naboyah ajo nityaha shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Hey Arjuna, realize who you are. Realize your true identity. The nature of the Atman. Ajaha, Nityaha, Shashvataha, Puranaha. You are birthless. The Atman is birthless. Ajaha. Shashvat Nityaha, Ajo Nityaha. Eternal. Shashvataha. Even when the world goes through the cycles of Srishti and Pralaya, the Atman remains unchanged. Puranaha. Ancient but ever fresh. Realize your own true nature. So the first secret, Guhya, that Krishna shares in the Gita is the nature of the Atman. The second secret Krishna shares is his own nature and his own powers. Bhumirapo nalovayuh gammano buddhirevacha ahankara itiyam me bhinna prakritirashtada apareyam mitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jivabhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat etadyonini bhutani sarvani upadharayat aham kritsnasya jagataha prabhavah pralayastata vattah parataram nanyati kinchidasti dharanjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iva. 7th chapter, Krishna reveals his own nature. He says, hey Arjuna, everything belongs to me. Both Prakriti and Purusha, they are my properties. They are my Aishwarya, my Vibhutis. I am the Vibhu. Everything belongs to me. I am the creator, the source of all sources, the source of all resources. I am the Trividha Karana. I am the Upadhana Karana, the material cause. I am the Nimitta Karana. I am the one who makes, like for a pot, the Upadhana Karana is clay. The potter is the Nimitta Karana. All the instruments are Sahakari Karana. When it comes to this universe, this creation, Krishna says, I am all the three rolled into one. Upadhana Karana, Nimitta Karana, Sahakari Karana. I am the source of all sources. Everything belongs to me. There is nothing superior to me. Mattah parataram nanyata kinchidasti dhananjaya. Mai sarvam idam protam sutre maniganaiva. Just like how a sutra, a thread supports all the gems in a necklace. Everything visible, invisible, supported by me and by me alone. I am the Adhara, Sarvadhara. Guhyatara. He shares more confidential than confident. And then comes Guhyatama. Idam tute Guhyatamam pravakshyamyanasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajñatva mokshase ashubhat rajavidya rajaguhyam pavitram idamuttamam pratyakshaavagamam dharmyam susukham kartumavyayam. Guhyatamam, the most confidential, is bhakti, the means to reach Bhagavan. It is Rajavidya, the king of all vidyas. It is Raja Guhya, topmost secret, because unless the mind is prepared, this jnana, which is bhakti, cannot be received. Rajaguhya, Rajavidya, Rajagu Pavitra. It is the most purifying thing that can happen to us. It purifies us completely. Pavitram idamuttamam pratyaksha vagamam. Bhakti brings Bhagavan to us. Bhagavan reveals himself to us. Pavitram idamuttamam pratyaksha dharmyam. It is our dharma, our natural state. It is our nature to love Krishna. Dharmyam susukham, and it is so very delectable, so very enjoyable. When we experience Krishna, we experience true bliss. Susukham kartum avyayam. Avyayam, it doesn't perish, because that is the nature of the Atman. The means to mukti is bhakti, and the blissful state of mukti is qualified by bhakti. So therefore, that is guhyatamam. Guhyam, guhyataram, guhyatamam. The most confidential. So here, Krishna says, sarva guhyatamam. He says, now that I have, once again, why is he saying that? He says, sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha. He says, once again, I am going to share. He says, I'm once again going to share, Shunu me paramam vachaha. Hey Arjuna, Shunu, listen to this paramam vachaha, this supreme word, paramam vachaha. And then he adds, he qualifies as to why he is going to once again, bhuyaha, again share the paramam vachaha. He's already shared it, but he's once again going to share it. He looks at Arjuna and says, Ishtosi me dridhamiti. Hey Arjuna, what I'm going to share is an outpouring of my boundless love for you. It is out of his compassion, his boundless love for Arjuna, that he says, Ishtosi me dridhamiti. Tato vakshyami te hitam. Te hitam, for your sake, for your welfare, for your benefit, I am going to once again. This shloka is the foundation to the next two shlokas, 65 and 66. Manmana bhava and sarvadharman parityajya. These two shlokas are the quintessential summary of the entire Gita. That these shlokas constitute paramam guhyam. Guhyam, guhyataram, guhyatamam. The guhyatamam, he is saying, I am going to now in two shlokas, with two shlokas, I am going to give you the very essence, he says. Now, immediately, here when Krishna says, Ishtosi me dridhamiti. Arjuna, you are one who is so very dear to me. We immediately ask this question. Does this only apply to Arjuna? Does it apply to all of us? Are we in the circle of Krishna's love? Or is it only Arjuna? No. At one level, he is addressing Arjuna, no doubt. He is telling Arjuna, you are my beloved. Ishtosi me dridhamiti. Dridham, not just you are dear to me, you are very, 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 very dear to me. Dridham, he qualifies Ishtosi. So, and he says, and at one level it is addressed to Arjuna, but at another level, Arjuna represents each and every one of us. Therefore, Krishna is actually directly addressing all of us. You are very dear to me. You are my beloved. Irrespective of whether we love him or not. This is the beauty. The answer to the question, are we in the circle of Krishna's love? The answer is a resounding yes. It doesn't matter how much we love him. Everyone, including atheists, everyone who hate Krishna, every living being are encircled by Krishna's love. The only thing is we have to look at Krishna's love not as one elite circle. We have to look at it as several concentric circles. Everyone is encircled by Krishna's love. But there is that one intimate circle. His bhaktas who love him more than everything else, those who have chosen him. Tesham jnani tu nityayuktaha ekabhaktir visishyate priyohina jnaninotyartam aham sacha mama priyaha, he says. They are dear to me, and more important, I am dear to them, to a jnani, more importantly, they are dear to me. Now, when we look at the inner circle, we see the gopis of Vraja there. Today is also the auspicious day of the first day of Margashirsha Masa, and we are celebrating Goda Devi, the quintessential embodiment of love for Krishna. Bhaktas who choose Krishna over everything else are the ones who are there in that intimate circle where Krishna says, Ishtosi me dridamiti. Now, immediately we are, Krishna is being very partial. Isn't he the one who is declared that everyone is equal? He is Sarvabhuta Suhrit. He says everyone is equal. If everyone is equal, then how can some be dear to him? This is a question that we have. Krishna is very partial. Krishna says, yes, I am very partial. But I have impartially opened the door of partiality to all. He says, when we ask him, hey Krishna, are you partial? His answer is, yes, I am partial. But I have impartially opened the door of partiality to all. Nobody stops anyone to move in whichever concentric circle we are. We may be far away from the inner circle, intimate circle, but he doesn't stop us from moving towards him and getting to that intimate. In fact, that's what he wants. He wants each and every one of us to get closer and closer and closer to him. So Krishna, in this shloka, he expresses his emphatic love for all of us, and he uses 5 words, very important. The first word here, Sarva Guhyatamam. No, Guhyatamam. Essentially by telling Arjuna that I am revealing something which has never been revealed to the larger public. Hey Arjuna, he immediately captures all of Arjuna's attention and our attention too. Now, Krishna is saying next 2 shlokas are the most confidential, therefore don't miss satsang. If you want the quintessential wisdom, the most confidential, just in 2 shlokas, because it seems one man went to Swamiji and said, Swamiji, 700 shlokas of Gita. He said, before going into, he went and said, Swamiji, I want to learn the Vedas, but Vedas are beyond me. What should I do? Swamiji said, Mahabharata. Vyasa himself has written Mahabharata to you. So why don't you study the Mahabharata? You will get the essence of the Vedas. Man was very happy. I will start Mahabharata tomorrow, Swamiji. How many shlokas? He said, it's only 1 lakh shlokas. 1 lakh shlokas, and then you will gain everything that the Vedas have declared. 1 lakh shlokas is beyond me, Swamiji. What should I do? Okay. Within Mahabharata, there are 700 verses which are together celebrated as the Bhagavad Gita. Why don't you at least study and learn the 700 verses? 700 verses seems to be better than 1 lakh, but still I don't have time for 700 verses. What should I do? And he said, okay, if not 700 verses, towards the end of Bhagavad Gita, there are 2 verses. Only 2 verses. You learn those 2 verses, and then everything that you want to ever learn in your life, you will learn. But the man further said, not even 2 verses, I have to come for 2 sessions. 2 satsangs, very difficult. Maybe I can spare 1, or I may even spare only half an hour. There is only 1. Mahashuchaha. If you internalize that, that is enough. That is how he ends in Shloka 66. But here, by basically qualifying what he is going to now share in the next 2 shlokas, Krishna uses 5 important words. Guhyatamam. So therefore, Arjuna's attention is completely captured here. Guhyatamam, sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha, shunume paramam vachaha, paramam vachaha. Everything that is confidential need not be important. So it is confidential. It is also paramam vachaha, supreme instruction. Very, very it is confidential and very, very important. Paramam vachaha. And he says, Ishtosime, Ishtaha. Krishna clearly says, hey Arjuna, it is not out of obligation that I am going to share this with you. It is out of love. Ishtaha, it is out of love. It is just the outpouring of Krishna's love. Gita is a manifestation of Krishna's unbounded love for us. That is the reason why any time and every time we encounter the Gita in any form, we can experience that bliss. Because Gita, while Bhagavatam is Krishna embodiment of Krishna himself, the Gita is the embodiment of his love for us. And here he says, Ishtosi me, Dhridam. And then he says, Ishtaha, you are dear to me, Dhridam, very, very dear to me. I am determined. Krishna says, I am determined. Krishna is not only asking us to be determined, he is saying, hey, I am more determined than you. Even if you are not determined to love me, I am ever determined to love you. I am ever even if you are not ready to serve me, I am ever determined to serve you. Because Krishna is doing what he is saying. He is saying this as Arjuna's charioteer. What more assurance can we ask for? Dhridam ishtosi me dhridamiti tato vakshamite hitam. He finally uses the word hitam. It is for your benefit, hey Arjuna. Here, what is Arjuna's benefit, hitam? The hitam can be twofold. Abhyudaya nishreyasa. Abhyudaya means material progress. Nishreyasa. What is really shreyakara? What is really good? What is really good for each and every one of us? What fulfills the mission of our life? That is nishreyasa. Attaining moksha is shreyakara. So therefore he says, Vakshami te hitam. It is for your hita. And then he says, hey Arjuna, therefore now I am going to, while he has given Arjuna the choice to decide, he's also looking at Arjuna. Arjuna is baffled. Krishna has given him so many things. In his teachings, so many aspects to the wisdom that Krishna taught. Arjuna is also wondering, and Krishna, out of compassion, looks at Arjuna and says, I know it is not easy for you to decide, and therefore let me make it even more simple for you. Many a times we are also baffled. When we are told that we need to abide by the shastras, are we supposed to be complying with the injunctions of the shastras like we are like a lawyer is abiding by a law book? Are we supposed to look at this injunction shloka number 1, this injunction shloka number 2, this injunction shloka number 3, and based on that should we run our lives? If that is the case, we will be lost forever. Krishna is rescuing Arjuna and saying, you don't need to be worried about that kind of a compliance. I'm going to make it easy for you. I'm going to give you the quintessence of everything I have taught, internalizing which you can shape your life, internalizing which you can shape your choices and lead your life. And thus, Arjuna lays that foundation towards the last two shlokas of the Gita. So therefore, I consider shlokas 63 and 64 are so very important for us to be prepared for the final two shlokas, which summarize the Gita and give us the very essence of the Gita Shastra. Arjuna is so very blessed that he receives this quintessential wisdom from Krishna, and we too are equally blessed because we too are going to relish each of these shlokas on 2 different days. One day on Manmanabhava, other day Sarvadharman. Until next week, when Krishna is going to give us the essence of the divine law of love, let us keep contemplating on one assurance, the assurance of all assurances, which is our takeaway for today. Ishtosi me dhridamiti. If we keep contemplating on this, we don't need any other medicines. To lead a life of health and supreme happiness, there is only one medicine, Krishna Aushadha. And Krishna Aushadha in the form of his own declaration. Ishtosi me dhridamiti. Let us all repeat together. This is Krishna saying, Ishtosi me dhridamiti. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu.